In The Sopranos, James Gandolfini plays Tony Soprano, head of the DeMeo crime family of New Jersey. Arguably the greatest television show ever made, The Sopranos is credited with playing a major part in starting the second golden age of television. It won 21 Emmys, 5 Golden Globes, and ran for 6 seasons, totaling 86 episodes. Much of the supporting and background cast were largely unknown to the public when they were cast, as series creator David Chase favoured actors who had a real-world, authentic Jersey Italian look, and many of these actors have gone on to have steady careers, with some exceptions like David Proval and Nancy Marchant, who were not Italian. Others, of course, were already known actors. Gandolfini had a steady career in the 90s, and Lorraine Bracco and Michael Imperioli were in Goodfellas, one of the main inspirations behind The Sopranos. In fact, the show made conscious efforts to detach itself from its Goodfellas influence, in spite of the show's style and so many actors from the film being in the series. Frank Vincent, for example, was turned down after his audition for the role of Uncle Junior, as I mentioned in a previous video, because of the popularity of his character in Goodfellas. It was only later, when the show established its own identity, that Vincent joined the cast in season 5, playing Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. In fact, it seemed the show became comfortable in adding a few higher-tier, well-known actors to its subspecies, like Steve Buscemi, who is probably the most prominent example aside from Frank Vincent. And then there's of course guest appearances from veterans such as Burt Young and Ben Kingsley. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because, interestingly, David Chase has revealed that Michael Madsen was desperate to be on the show. The accomplished actor who by the time The Sopranos started filming had made his name with films like Reservoir Dogs and Donnie Brasco, the latter where he played a mob capo. This would have easily been one of the biggest castings of the show with Madsen's popularity at the time, especially coming off his role in Donnie Brasco just a couple of years before The Sopranos aired. However, Chase refused to cast Madsen. Why? Well, it seems it was due to the authentic Italian-American feel and Madsen's accent. On the Talking Sopranos podcast, he said the following.
I really tried to hire only Italians for Italian parts. Because that detail, whatever those details are, meant so much to me.
Yeah.
I remember that Michael Madsen apparently was... I think it was in the paper, was pissed off at me because I wouldn't hire him. And he's a great actor, but he has a Chicago accent. And I just couldn't see it. It was like a family. I guess, well, probably all of us are from the same class, right?
Yeah.
Same background.
Even before this interview, it was kind of a known thing that Madsen had been trying to get on The Sopranos for a while. I wonder who Madsen could have played if he did indeed get on the show. Of course, it could be a completely new character. A character who had gone to become established but was moulded differently into something else, or a guest star in a single episode. I wouldn't have minded at all to see Madsen in the show. He has a presence about him, a gravitas like James Gandolfini or David Proval in their roles in the show, and he could have legitimately been a terrifying character. Maybe he could have played a part as one of the guys who gets out of prison in season 5. Phil Leotardo maybe. They could have dropped the 20-year in the can thing to 10 to make it more believable. Or maybe even Billy Leotardo. Imagine that, Frank Vincent and Michael Madsen going around causing trouble. They could have also expanded the Billy role and flesh it out. Or even Tony's cousin, Tony B. I think he'd make a great Tony B. Maybe there would need to be some changes, like it's difficult to picture him giving Vito a back massage, but you could easily change that by giving Tony B a different legitimate job. But Tony B the hitman, the fellow who has a problem with rage, the unstable cousin who goes off the rails, definitely. I know a lot of people take issue with Steve Buscemi's casting, that he didn't fit, that he felt weird and out of place. I mean, I liked him in the show, but I can see that argument. And you can flip the argument on its head and say that the fact that Buscemi doesn't look like a gangster is part of the point. But I think I could believe Madsen more as Tony's cousin. But ultimately, it seems his accent and his heritage kept him off the show. But that's a pretty benign reason if you ask me. Of course, Chase is not obligated to cast Madsen just because he's a famous actor and he wants to be on the show. But if it's really just the accent that kept him off the show, why not have him play someone who comes in from Chicago, or, get him to act and do an accent? He could have featured in the Florida storyline, doing business on behalf of the Chicago outfit. Or maybe he's a connected guy in Hollywood who Chris and Carmine Jr. work with to get Cleaver off the ground. He could be a dodgy cop, a business associate, a cowboy. There's loads of possibilities, but if the accent was the issue, then maybe what he wanted was a long-term role as one of the main Sopranos crew members. He's a really cool looking guy and isn't in enough good movies, so it would have been great to have him on the show. Since we're here, there's a short little clip of someone asking him about a role in The Irishman or The Sopranos movie.
Hey Michael,
Yeah.
they should have had you in The Irishman.
What's that?
They should have had you in The Irishman.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what about the new Soprano movie?
I don't know.
Well, I don't
I'm
know why.
waiting to get the call.
I don't know why they don't have you in these movies, man.
I wish you were running a studio.
Well, me too. I love you and Johnny Basco, by the way.
Thank you, man.
All right, have a safe trip.
Thank you.
You're looking good.
Thanks, man.
All right, take care.
Obviously, it's just small talk as he goes about his business, but interesting that he says he's waiting for the call for the Sopranos movie, and seems to have a mindset where he actively wants to be in these kind of projects. So what do you make of this? Would you have liked to have seen Michael Madsen on the show? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.